You're just sipping really loud. I'm gonna join the party.
You heard that, right? Make sure you heard that.
What? I'm so confused.
If you train the throat muscles hard enough, you can like force a swallow really loud. It's like I don't know how to describe it. But like you can make the sound of you actually swallowing loud. That's why they call me the throat goat.
You don't say that shit when I'm drinking, because then coffee's gonna come out of my nostrils and it's gonna go all over your carpet.
It wouldn't be the messiest thing that went on this carpet.
Oh.
No, not like that. Marky just spilled his liquids all over that. Not like that. But not like that. I meant it was wow. It was
Michael.
It was way cooler.
Michael.
It was way cooler. I swear.
Michael, please take a breather. Breathe in. Are you good? Are you sleep deprived?
Oh, very. I told you that.
What time did you wake up?
Like 11. But like that was the second time. That was the second time. The first time I woke up, it was like 8, and then I tried staying awake, but then I knocked out again.
What time did you go to sleep?
4 or 5. Just to do the stories.
My brother in Christ.
Hey, you barely finished like an hour ago.
Shut up.
I don't want to hear shit.
Your health is more important. Says the one that's been awake since 6 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I should stop talking. Welcome everybody to Caffeinated Creeps. It is your favorite hosts, plural.
You realize that on the last episode, I did say hosts.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
I misheard you.
Don't make me feel bad about your hearing problems.
I go by Ray, and then I got my buddy here.
I go by Mr. Butternuts, aka Butter Tits, or aka Sugar Tits, whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just two friends with the podcast. Friends that eat 12 inches together, stay together. What was it?
What? Friends who take 12 inches stay together. Yeah, that's great. What I meant to say was that earlier we went to a local sandwich shop that had amazing sandwiches, right? They were delicious. I still have my other half waiting for me.
Me too. You took like 3 bites right now.
I did. But I'm gonna deep throat that shit while I'm editing this episode or the next one. Either one. And they were really good. It sucks that you didn't. I feel like your sandwich would have been really good with the pickles, but you're a fucking child. you don't eat your fucking pickles.
Whoa!
Look.
Wow!
You say you are a sandwich connoisseur. All right, you take out the pickles.
I don't like pickles.
They complement a sandwich so well.
But the pickles.
You
know what? Next time I'll try these stick pickles. I can't stand the little circle pickles though.
Alright, baby steps. Okay, fine. I'll take it. Baby steps.
Baby steps. I'll
baby steps.
Try one. Okay? I'll try one.
Okay. They just complemented so well.
Yeah, the sandwiches we got were 12 inches. They were pretty big. I'm surprised I was able to finish half.
Yeah.
Because I've eaten there before and I usually just get the 8-inch and then I'm full afterwards. Well, I'm still full now, but I'll probably be hungry when I'm done with this episode.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm actually really excited to go back and try other ones. Because I just wanted to play it safe with this one. With the first time. But I mean, the bread was delicious. The chicken was fantastic. The sauce was good.
The teriyaki one, the Thai one.
Yeah.
It's teriyaki chicken. And it's good. It has the onions. It has cheese in it. It has teriyaki sauce. But the only thing that it has that you might not like is it has pineapple in it.
Who says I didn't like pineapple?
I know you do like pineapple, but I wasn't sure how you would feel of it in a sandwich. I know there's some people that don't like it on their pizza, which they should grow the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and, but you draw the line at pickles. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, it's good. That's the sandwich that I've been eating the past 3 times. This is the first time I got something different, which is just a basic like BLT. Not gonna lie.
I don't know. Next time we go back, I want to try something different.
It's really good, huh?
It was really good. So
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So at least we know what we're eating for the next con.
Oh yeah, that's right. Man, what? I'm still a little worried as to what I'm gonna dress up as, because I'm not trusting those sites that have the fucking Pochita costume.
Get a gift card and just do it.
Maybe.
A Visa gift card. It's not like they can track back and steal your information.
No, but they'll have my address. They gotta deliver it.
P.O. Box. I don't know. Send it to... I don't know.
Send it to the goal. That's so fucked up. I'm not editing that in. I don't know. Maybe I'll just stick with house husband and...
Hell yeah. I like that one. That one was pretty dope.
Or, I thought about it the other day. I wanted to do like the shark costume that we saw at the last little anime thing that we went to. But, you know, I wear that, and then when I unzip it and come out, I'm the shark devil.
You're gonna be walking around shirtless in the summer?
He's shirtless?
Bean?
He's shirtless?
He's shirtless. He's my baby boy. Why do you think I love him so much?
I'm not literally physically ready to go out parading shirtless.
Yeah, I know you weren't. I wasn't expecting you to. But I was just gonna be like, hey, you do know he's shirtless, right? Yeah, this is what he looks like.
Doesn't he have like a shirt on at least?
No.
Oh man.
Homie just wears shorts and he has a shark fin head.
That's
why he's Bean.
That's upsetting.
I know.
Okay.
You could.
Maybe I'll just stick with the house husband, or do a Peter P. Parker.
Do that one. It might be difficult though because it's gonna be very hot, and you're gonna be wearing the Spidey suit.
It wouldn't be my first time wearing one.
And the
trench coat. Yeah.
Not the trench coat, but the ones that the ladies wear inside the house. That pink thing that he has.
Oh, you want me to do? I was gonna do from the first movie where he just has like he has like 2 fucked up shoes.
Yeah.
Sweatpants.
Never mind. I just assumed you were just gonna go full on dad mode.
Oh no, I would. It's tempting too, but not yet.
Okay. Never mind then.
But anyway,
all right. Yeah.
Everybody, welcome back to. You already did an intro. My bad.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I'm so lost.
I come with the story first.
How's your week?
Terrible. It was horrible. I want to cry. Literally, like, my coworker just pisses me off. One of them pisses me off so much. So, you want me to tell you? Okay. So, there is a patient. And, remember how I told you that I wanted them to switch up the assignments? And they did. Mm-hmm. So they threw me on the 4th assignment because there's only 4 working at night because they like to overwork us and give us 15 patients instead of, making us have fewer. Mm-hmm. So I had the 4th assignment. I had 15 patients. There is one patient who is a pervert when it comes to women CNAs. Mm-hmm. So what he'll do is he'll pretend to not know how to use the urinal. So he'll ask you to hold it while he's pissing. Or he'll be like, my balls hurt. Can you fix my balls? So the first time I didn't know, which this happened weeks back. So here I am like a dumbass messing with his balls technically to get him comfortable because I feel bad because I don't know what it is like to be a guy or whatever. So I was like, if it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable. And then I was like, wait a minute, how the fuck are you moving your hand, but you can't do it yourself. You know? So, because of that, I need to switch him for another patient. And my coworker, in the assignment right next to me is a male. So I was like, okay, it's perfect. He can have him because he's a male only CNA. And then I can have one of his. Well, I don't like this coworker per se because he doesn't listen to this anyways.
Fuck you, dude. Or, ma'am.
It was a dude.
Fuck you, dude.
What's it called?
I don't know if I have to say.
I don't. It's kind of hard because you ask for an inch and then he'll expect a mile in return. Mm-hmm. He's one of those people. So, he's straight up lazy. So I told him, hey, we need to switch these people. Who do you want to give me in exchange? And I don't remember him much. And then he's all like, oh, you can have so-and-so. And then I was like, okay, I can't have her because she calls at least 5 or 6 times a night. You know, she's literally calling every 15 minutes that she wants something. It's not fair for me to give you an easy patient that only calls once or twice a night and then you give me more work to do.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair. And then he's like, well, you can have this lady then. And I was like, I get that she doesn't call at all at night, but she is a very, very big woman, and I cannot change her by myself. She is too difficult to change by myself. She moves. She is, you know, like, she's a big lady. She puts her hands everywhere. You need 2 people to change her at all times. Even he needed help changing her. And he's like 6'1".
He's expecting you to do that shit alone?
Yeah. So eventually he agrees to give me this other one. And I was like, okay, she's pretty cool. I knew who she was, so I was like, okay, it should be fine. No. She had an infection where she, like, is shitting all the time. So she's been asking to be changed almost every other hour. Exactly like the person before, you know? So I'm in there, and I'm in there, and I'm in there, and then, like, I'll be ready to change her, and I need to gown up. I have to put on a whole fucking gown. I have to put on gloves. I have to put on a mask in order to change her because of this infection that she has, right? And then as I'm warming up the water, and she sees me warming up the water so that I can change her, I put the towel down on the bed, and then she's all like, oh, I feel like I still have to go. Can you come back later? Lady, what do you mean? So then I'm all like, okay, that's fine. Anyways, I'm still changing her. I'm doing my thing. I'm passing out waters now, and it's later on in the night. And I'm passing out waters. Can you shut up?
I'm sorry.
Whoops, it's my mother.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Just let me know if you want me to add, like, any of this in. Honestly, like...
No, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. You can add it in. Hi, Mom.
No, I meant, like, the whole...
Oh, yeah.
I'll decide.
I mean, if it's too long... No. So, I go, and then my nurse goes up and she tells me, hey, can you fix this lady, which is the second lady that he wanted to give me? Can you fix her real quick on her bed? She's about to fall off. Her legs are dangling out. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, okay. And I just see him sitting on his ass on the little couch. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe he's on his break. So I go. I'm fixing her up. I can't do it because she's so big. So I'm like, can somebody help me change this lady, get this lady, adjusted? Somebody comes and everything. And then they're all like, do you have this lady? And I was like, no, it's this coworker's. And then she's all like, okay, that's weird because I overheard him tell the nurse that she's yours. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. So we fix her up, and then we go out, and then I talk to my charge nurse, and I told her, hey, why did you tell me to do this? I mean, like, I don't mind, because if a patient's falling, and I have to help so that this patient doesn't fall, because I don't want them to get hurt. But he has her, and then she told me, well, he said that you have her. And I was like, no, because I'm having this third lady that he wanted me to have. not the second one, and he's trying to give me the third and the second one, do I have to give him one of mine, or how is this gonna go? So then she's all like, let me talk to him. So she talks to him, and then he goes up to me, he's like, my bad. I'm like, come on. And that's just the first thing, and it really, but like, it really grinded my gears, because I was like already doing something. Like, I have everything like timed, you know, like, and when things are not aligning with my schedule, like at work, like, it's tough, because sometimes like you can't change people too early, because then by the time it's morning, they're complaining that they're wet, and then you can't change people too late, because then you don't leave on time. So I have to have everything set, and it's just, it was bad. It was like already 6:50, and I still had 3 people to change, and they were all big ladies. I wanted to cry. I needed help, like, really bad, and I was embarrassed. Anyways, what about you, friend? Forget about me.
And then Marky too, fucking, his PS5 broke.
You wanna buy him one?
I was going to again. I got it, the one he has right now, I bought him for his birthday last year.
How did he break it?
He didn't break it. Like, it just, like, I think something with the power broke, and I was like, let me see if the warranty's still good. Like, I can just get it replaced. He's like, alright, let me just look at what might be the problem. So he was looking at it, he's like, oh, I think I can just fix it myself. Like, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm like, alright. But the moment you break it up, like, you open it, like, the warranty's gone. I can't give you a replacement. It's like, that's fine. He gets the part. It's the right part, but the model of the PS5 had changed slightly, so it's, like, mismatched. So what he bought was the right piece, but they had changed it when I got that PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really bad. And then me and a couple of some of his other friends and his Twitch community all pitched in to get him a new one, and he just got it yesterday.
Congrats, Marky.
I know.
If you listen to this, congrats.
I have no idea if he ever does.
Yeah.
Probably not, but...
Congratulations,
yeah.
bro.
Anyway, I have no idea how much I'm gonna have that in.
Well, who knows?
I don't know. I'll figure it out. You ready?
Hell yeah. Let's get this party started. We're filming a 2-parter, actually. And it is
10 o'clock.
It's about to be 10 o'clock, and
or just barely recording, too.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna, like, finish by, like, midnight.
Probably.
God, this is how, like, Em and Christine probably felt. I don't remember if, like, those first few episodes, they were like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
And then you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, how?
How hard is it? I'm like, oh, God, it's really hard.
It's more difficult than I fucking thought.
It's really hard.
I don't know how they did it. I mean, look at them now. The payoff is great.
I don't know how we're doing it. We got this, though. We got this. The power of friendship. Okay. Alrighty. So, not last week, because last week was the Creepy Caffeinated Chronicles. Mm-hmm. But the week before, I talked about the elevator game.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Oh! That's right. I know. I completely forgot what your story was going to be this week.
So then I have said, this is going to be a 2-parter. I'm going to talk about Elisa Lam next week.
I thought that turned into a 3-parter.
I got slapped in the face. Creepy Caffeinated Chronicles. And I'm like, at the worst time.
Slap in the face. I told you what it was going to be. I literally told you what it was going to be.
Michael.
Fucking okay.
I forget a lot of things, okay?
Yes, you do.
At least I didn't forget what I ate today. Because I only ate one thing.
Oh, what was that?
2 things. I ate eggs this morning with salsa. Mm. And a little bit of avocado with queso and a tortilla. And then I ate this 12-inch sandwich. It's delicious.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and we were talking about Elisa Lam. And Elisa Lam, it's a case I briefly mentioned for the elevator game. And that's what really kind of popped off around, like, in the West.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty popular in Japan and Korea. So, Elisa Lam, it's 6 pages long. Great.
Great, because my story is ridiculously short.
What about the one for the next episode? Is it decent?
I tried making it as long as I could, but the information was so scarce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so bad. Literally, the intro to my next story,
Mm-hmm.
I started off by saying, like, his story doesn't... Like, his life basically doesn't start until the action taking place.
Damn.
Like, I literally couldn't find anything of his early life. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but I just couldn't find it.
Uh-huh.
Like, almost every article I read just started at the exact same fucking point, and it pissed me off so badly.
Yeah. So, this is what I tried doing.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make this a 3-parter, right? I mentioned the elevator game.
Uh-huh.
I was going to do the Elisa Lam story, and then in the next episode, I was going to talk about ghosts in the Cecil Hotel.
So
You know?
4-parter, really, because...
Whatever. Well, guess what? There are no ghosts in the Cecil Hotel.
Oh, they exist. Oh, they exist.
They don't exist. And if they do exist, I haven't found anything. Dude, I scoured all over the internet for it. And I'm right here like, I'm going to talk about the history of the Cecil first, and then the ghost, because then that's when the ghosts come in, and then you got to understand, because it started in the 20s. So then you're going to see like 20s ghosts, and then, you know, like, I'm hyped, right? I literally write like half a page, and I'm like, cool, now let's look for some ghosts. I found no ghosts.
You know, it kind of
So
reminds
now-
me of the story I have for this episode, actually. Because, like, I was hearing, like, oh, this location's haunted. And I was reading on the history, and it's, like, far back, and it's rich, and there's a lot of death, and this. I'm like, all right, great.
Delicious.
I'm like, it's great. Delicious. I want,
No
like,
ghost stories, though.
like, yeah.
It's
I was like,
gruesome.
what the fuck are the... I mean, like, there were some accounts, and there was...
You know why? Because they don't exist.
No, hold on. But the only good thing about this... No, I'm getting way too ahead of myself. Way too ahead of myself. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Alright, so I'm just gonna talk about Elisa Lam, and then whatever I don't mention that's part of the history, I'll mention after. So, and it sucks too, because I had this cool little section too right here, like this little cool little intro to like segue into it.
You wanna try it?
No, because it's horrible.
Can I read it?
No.
Oh, come on, let me read it.
I'll let you, I'll read it after. Because the thing is that it's supposed to be true crime, and then after that was paranormal. So I was including Cecil as the sequel, or like technically the prequel, but you know how like the prequel comes after
the introduction and then the
yeah
okay.
That's why. So that's why like it was supposed to segue from Elisa Lam to the Cecil, but then now it just sounds stupid. So so we're gonna talk about Elisa Lam. I had done so much research on this when I was younger, and since I was younger, I was dumber, and I thought of this case as entertainment. And then now, as an adult, I realized how fucked up I was when I was younger. Thank God I did not have a podcast when I was 17.
Me and you both. My God.
Yeah, so I was able to look at it through like newer lens as an adult, especially because we're around the same age, the age that Elisa passed away.
Really?
So yeah. So let's start. Our story takes place on February 13th, 2013, at the famous Cecil Hotel located in Los Angeles. Great. Guests started complaining about the water. Some said that it tasted funny. Others say that the water was black and that it smelled. And some even reported that there was no water pressure going through their sink at all. In the beginning, guests were being moved from room to room until enough complaints warranted the maintenance man Santiago Lopez to check the water tanks on the roof of the hotel.
Santiago, he has 2 last names?
Santiago Lopez.
Santiago. That's so weird. Having 2 last names as your full name.
He went to the... Okay, so listen to this point, to these 2 little points. I'll tell you when to stop, okay? Well, I mean, you can keep listening to them. You know what I meant, though.
No, I don't. I'll tell you when to stop. I'm you would have stopped. That's great. Okay.
I wonder if Nicole's still here.
That's a good question. No, I think they're reading.
They're reading? You want to hold him?
Sure.
He hasn't been left. I feel bad. I'm sorry, my child. My stepchild. Okay. So these parts are pretty important. He went to the 15th floor, which is cool, because there's like... I didn't know that the Cecil Hotel had 15 floors.
It's a hotel.
I know, but not all hotels have 15 floors. Yeah. Going back to the history of the Cecil, they wanted to make it as big as possible, so they made it 15 floors, which was the biggest that they could do at the time.
Okay.
That's why. So that's why it has 15 floors. So he went to the 15th floor, and then he entered an indoor staircase. Then he goes to disarm the alarm system for restricted access, such as the rooftop. And if you open the door to the roof without disarming the alarm, then the alarm would ring the front desk down in the lobby, but also the top 2 floors of the hotel, which means that a lot of people would have heard it. So in the rooftop, there's 4 giant water tanks about 10 feet high and 6 feet wide. They're also on top of 4-foot platform, which is like basically my size. So you have to climb up a ladder to get on the platform, and then the tanks are elevated on top. And then in each individual water tank, there's like not an elevator, a ladder. Did I say elevator earlier? I hope not.
I don't think so. No.
I hope not. Okay, so
no.
you climb the ladder, and then you see 4 tanks, and then there's each ladder. You know, they're like on the side of the tank.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think you said platform instead.
There we go.
Yeah.
So there was actually one with the lid open. There's another website that I saw that said 2 were open, but every other place that I saw just said only 1 was open. So Santiago immediately was like, alright, that's not right. Probably that's why the water is all funky, because of all the pollution and like the debris from like Los Angeles is dirty as hell. You know?
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So he went to check it out, and like basically the lid, like I said that the lid was open, but it wasn't the lid. It's kind of like a hatch. They kind of like have like a hatch door. And the lid was closed in a way, like the whole top, because they can like pull it apart with like a crane, I guess. And I don't think it was screwed on, but there was a latch door essentially in the side. It'd be too hard for you to push the whole lid off, but they had a latch door on the side for like people to look in if they have to.
Yeah.
So the latch door was technically open. So you know, he was climbing up so that he can look inside the latch door. And when he looks down, he sees the body of a woman who had been missing for 3 weeks. And it's 21-year-old Elisa Lam. And like I said, she was actually in the water tank for those 3 weeks that she was missing. And before I get into the nitty-gritty of the conspiracies and like the pop culture references or whatever, I'm going to talk a little bit about her. She was born in Canada in 1991. Both her parents were born in Hong Kong and migrated to Canada, and they own a Chinese restaurant. I don't know if they still own it, but I couldn't really find anything about that because they're very private and reserved, which I understand and I want to respect. And she was studying at the University of British Columbia, but she wasn't registered in the beginning of 2013, so I don't know if she was having issues with schooling or she was struggling. I had written this before I did a little bit more research. I'm kind of going to get a little bit ahead of myself, but she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. So she had been having issues with schooling because of that. And that's kind of one of the reasons as to why she was a little bit like hesitant when it came to schooling. She still wanted to go to school.
Yeah.
But because of everything that she was going through, she would apply and then she would go for a little bit and then she would like get out of school. You know what I mean? Like how do you say it? Like, she would quit school, and then she would go back, and then she would quit, and then she would go back. That's what I was able to understand from the website and everything. So, she also had a Tumblr account, too. And it's not active, but you can look up her handle, and she's still there, and you get to see everything that she had posted.
Was any of it like maybe a foretelling of what's to come, or was it just like
you can see her, like, she'll post like things once in a while about her like struggling, but most of her content was mainly like fashion, like quotes, and sometimes like she like it's like her little diary, like it's a blog, so she would be like, like, I'm not feeling the best, I'm not, stuff like that. So I get it. She was 21, she was around my age. You go through all these emotions, especially with her diagnosis for bipolar and depression. She was also having a hard time accepting it. So, and at that time, she didn't really have a clear path of treatment because, like I said, everything was all new. She finally just discovered, because I feel like when it comes to with mental illness, you always feel like something, what the heck was that?
Wah.
Carl, is that you? Wah.
Whatever sound Nicole just made it. I was.
That's Nicole?
That was Nicole.
That was Nicole.
That was Nicole.
Damn, Nicole. Where was I at? When it comes to mental illness, you always feel like something's wrong. But something different, but like it's kind of like a little bit of a different emotion when you actually finally get diagnosed with something, because then you kind of realize like, okay, I'm not crazy.
So like that kind of reality just sets in then,
basically that reality sets in and everything, and I'm like, okay, so now I know that I do have something, or that something is wrong with me, and I feel like it can kind of be, for some people it's relieving, like especially like people with ADHD, they know that something's wrong, or they know that they're having difficulties with things. So when they finally get diagnosed with ADHD, usually it's kind of like a sigh of relief. They knew finally what they were stressing about. They have a title for it. So they can finally find ways to help them cope, But I feel like other people could be like in denial. They're like, no, I'm not, obviously she had bipolar disorder. So she's like, nothing's wrong with me, or for whatever reason, she was having issues accepting basically that. So she didn't have the clearest path of treatment, like I said. So, with her depression and everything, she kind of decided that she wanted to go on a trip. And she wanted to clear her mind, go on this trip, and have a blast. And that maybe it'll help her feel a little bit better. So, she told her parents, and her parents were kind of like, no, do not do that at all. And with a little bit of convincing, she's all like, I'll call you guys every single day. Like, she was saving up money or whatever. They were kind of like, you know what? Fuck it, why not? You're an adult. But she was going to go on this trip by herself towards the West Coast. It was like a cool little West Coast trip. She was going to start at San Diego, LA, Santa Cruz, I believe San Francisco. And then after that, she was going to head back home. So, she was finally able to go. And, like, just an FYI, like, just because she was depressed, it didn't mean that she had, like, suicidal tendencies. And she never tried to commit suicide. So, a lot of people think that, because she was depressed, she, like, wanted to end herself. And, she didn't seem like the type, but at the same time, I feel like you can't really tell anyways.
Every person has their own different experience.
Yeah. So, the one thing that really set off alarm bells to people that were invested in the case was that she actually had a history of not taking her bipolar medication. And as a result, on several occasions, she had suffered hallucinations, and sometimes it would cause her to hide under her bed. She was hospitalized at least once for one of these episodes. So on her trip, she traveled alone on Amtrak and intercity buses, and she visited the San Diego Zoo, and she posted photos there on social media. And I thought you had your hand up, my bad. Sorry, because I saw you move, and it was like right there for a while. On January 26th, she arrived in LA, After 2 days, she checked into the Cecil Hotel near downtown Skid Row, which, if you know, you know.
Okay, J-Lo.
I'm
so sorry.
No, yeah. Something that I found out. I mean, Skid Row. We kind of know that it's predominantly like it's like a small square of like houseless people.
Yeah.
But apparently, police just drop off people there because they feel like it.
Yeah, it's LAPD for you.
Yep. You know, like if you do plan on visiting Cecil, for people that are listening, just be careful because it is not very safe. LA is not very safe, especially if, I mean, for anybody, but I mean, especially if you're a woman. Just don't do it. Girl, do not do it.
I was gonna say, well, that too, but also like tourists. Like,
yeah.
Like if you don't know where you're going, yeah, you're just a lot of, you gotta be really careful.
When you mentioned how we should try to like spend the night at the Cecil, I was like, no, dude. That's too dangerous. I don't even care about the ghost, but I feel like, I don't know, bro. So something that's cool is that you can do like, I guess in the Cecil or like in hotels back in the days. I don't know if it's other hotels or just Cecil, but basically you can share a room. You know, like they'd have bunk beds in there, and then you'd have like roomies, I guess, for your stay.
Interesting, okay.
And it makes stuff cheaper, which, I mean, it'll make sense. It's cool, like, if you're, like, a nomad or whatever. You know, like, just a quick place to stay for, like, a weekend or for, like, a week, you know? And she was assigned a shared room on the hotel's 5th floor. However, her roommates complained about her odd behavior, which caused her to be moved to her own room just 2 days later. And the odd behavior was that she was leaving notes for her roommates that said go home and go away. And she would lock the door to the room, and she would basically, like, when they would try to like knock to come in or whatever, she'd be like, what's the password? Yeah. And this isn't the first time we'll hear about her odd behavior. And apparently a few days before her disappearance, Elisa attended a live taping of Conan in Burbank, but she was escorted off the premises by security due to disruptive behavior.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. On January 31st, 2013, it was the day she was scheduled to check out of the hotel and to leave to Santa Cruz, but she never did and never called her parents. Like I said, she was calling them every single day because they were worried about her. And her parents immediately called the police in British Columbia, who transferred them to LAPD. And her family flew to LA to help with the search. Hotel staff who saw Elisa that day said that she was alone. And she visited this place that I've been wanting to go to. It's called The Last Bookstore in LA. It's a bookstore, but it's called The Last Bookstore, and it kind of has like a really cool like vibe. It's kind of like very like aesthetically pleasing in there. And there's the manager there. Her name is Katie Orphan, and she recalled seeing her that day, and she said that she was very outgoing, lively, and friendly, and she was actually getting souvenirs for her family, and she was kind of like worrying whether or not they'd be too heavy to carry while she's traveling. And that's like the only interaction she had with her. So police searched the hotel to the extent that they legally could. They searched her room and had dogs go through the building, including the rooftop, but the dogs were unsuccessful in detecting her scent. And the reason why every room couldn't be searched is because it was a residential hotel. People were actually renting rooms and living there. So it wasn't like...
You can't just go in,
yeah,
busting doors down and ask, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So the new owners of the hotel actually tried evicting these people, but, you know, they have rights and they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, so basically these new owners were all like, okay, well, if we can't refurbish Cecil, we're going to make another hotel in the same hotel. So what they did is that they renovated 3 floors of the Cecil Hotel, changed the whole vibe, called it Stay on Main, I think, And basically, the Cecil Hotel has 2 entrances. One says Cecil, one says Stay on Main. Even the employees had different uniforms. But it was still in the same place, and you would have to take the same elevator to go to these floors. The same elevators to go to these floors. So, you know, it's just like a little bit like weird. You know what I mean?
It just seems it just seems like a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, but that's what they were trying to do. The Stay on Main was kind of like newer, you know, stuff like that. And then the Cecil, it kind of looked a little bit like old and like rugged or whatever.
To be fair, the outside building does look.
Yeah.
It looks kind of ancient.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this was made in the 1920s.
We gotta just wipe it all off the map and then just
mm-hmm.
put a Walmart there, Dollar General. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
Have you seen that TikTok? Like the guy on TikTok?
I don't think so.
He's like, the Big Ben has been around for like centuries. It's a great looking art piece. It's a great piece of architecture, but it's a bit outdated, and we need a bit of a newer, modern tech. So he's like, so let's replace it. Let's like, so he like photoshops the area. And like, let's completely scrap the idea. So he just removes Big Ben. And he just puts like this solid block of like titanium, and he just puts a digital clock. He's like, there you go. And he puts like a little convenience store on the bottom. He's like, there you go, new Big Ben. He does it with like every location. It's like Grand Canyon. Put a fucking put a couple chevrons, a couple of
oh my god, what the heck? I'm curious to see if he did the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
or the Statue of Liberty.
Fuck, I don't know, but those would be really fun. I think he did do I think he's like, give it back to the French.
I love that a lot. Well, if you see him again, let me know and send it to me. I would love to see that.
If I find it, I'll have to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I already said what I said. I like wrote like a small part of it just because I know so much about this case.
Yeah,
so if you notice, I'm not even looking at my notes.
I was literally gonna say that you had just been looking at me, not even at your laptop. What was there even any point of you doing notes? Honestly, it's actually I'm pretty impressed actually the fact that you're just.
This is like one of my few little Roman empires, I guess you can say, because I've been obsessed with this case.
Yeah.
Like,
I can feel you like tiptoeing around some certain words. I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Because it's the mystery in itself is intriguing.
Yeah.
But obviously, something like this shouldn't be romanticized. Obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just.
When I was younger though, I was invested in this case for the wrong reasons. And then that's why I kind of like stopped, and I knew a lot about it, like bits and pieces. But then like as I was doing my research again, starting it over because I couldn't find my old notes, I had to start it over.
Yeah.
I was remembering a lot of things, so that's why I still remember it from muscle memory. Or does it count as muscle memory? Well, your brain is a muscle, right?
Yeah. But it was most likely that you studied it and observed it so hard that accessing it from your long-term memory is like super fucking easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, another week with no sign of Elisa, and the LAPD decided to release a video of the last known sighting of her taken in one of the elevators on January 31st. You want to watch it again? I can look for it real quick.
Sure.
Let's see. It's about 2.5 minutes long, if I'm correct.
I remember too when this came out, like watching it in high school. It's not that I was like obsessed with it, but I was more like I felt something more different. I was more sad.
Yeah.
Watching the elevator clip, just because I'm like, we see her right there.
Can you see?
Yeah, I see just fine. But and we don't know the other part of the story, and it just I don't know why that saddened me so much.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, try to pay attention to this, kind of. I mean, you can pay attention to whatever you want.
Like the timestamp?
Yeah, because there's theories regarding the timestamp that it's been frozen or it's been slowed down, and that they had taken out like a whole minute of her and that the video has been altered. That's what a lot of people believe, especially because it's so distorted. Because this is from like 2013. So, I mean, like, obviously it would be old because of the Cecil itself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like to the point where it's a little too, sketch. Where people are concerned. I don't know. But that's why it's just speculation.
Like coincidental that it would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can just look at wherever. So, I'm going to be explaining it to the viewers. Elisa's walking in right now. She's wearing a red sweater, and it looks like she's wearing, like, a black or blue skirt. Looks like a jean skirt, maybe.
She presses, like, multiple buttons, too.
Yeah, she pressed a whole bunch of buttons. And then, hold on. I'm going to pause it right here, actually.
But, like, they weren't random. It looked like she was, like, looking at which floor that she wanted to pick and then decided to pick it. Yeah. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but...
Yeah, well, she presses a couple buttons, and a lot of people that have gone to the Cecil and they were in the elevator, they see that the floor that she picked, the button right under it, is the one that holds the elevator doors open. So, the elevator doors, when they hold open, they actually hold open for a good 2 minutes. So, that's what a lot of people think, like, why the elevator doors took forever to close. It's because of that. That's what people are saying, at least, because I've never seen the elevator personally. But like I said, she just pressed a whole bunch of buttons, and then she leaned all the way back against the elevator car, like in front of where the buttons were at. And then now she's getting close again. And then she's looking left and right real quick, and then she's back inside the elevator. Well, she looked out, my bad. And then now she's in the side. Now she's creeping around, kind of like looking over the corner a little bit and seeing what's outside of the elevator. And a lot of people find it really disturbing and creepy. But, a lot of people also find it really sad, too. Because it's just unexplainable. And now she's outside the elevator again. And she's moving her legs a little bit.
But the way she moves is so defensive.
She's doing, a lot of people are saying that she's doing kind of like a little dance. In a way to try to trigger the elevator. So now she's standing in front of the elevator and you can barely see her arm. And then it looks like she's lifting her hands up. And then the elevator door is still not closing. And that's why they think that she accidentally pressed the button to keep the doors open. And then now she's walking inside the elevator. And she was kind of like holding on to the doors with her hands. And now she's pressing more buttons. She's pressing a lot of buttons, actually.
At this point, it's almost like she's pressing every button.
Yeah. And then she steps outside of the elevator again. And she kind of stands to the side where you can barely see her. And she's looking inside the elevator, and then now she's moving her hands.
But
she's bending like her wrists a bit down.
It kind of looks like she's talking to somebody a little bit, like expressing using her hands a little bit, but clearly no one is there. Yeah,
and in her hands, she's kind of playing with her hands together. She has her hands up again. She's walking a little bit far from the elevator. She's now out of sight. We can't see her. I don't know if she's coming back. Because I haven't seen this video in a long time. No, the elevator door just closed by itself. Nobody's inside. She's gone. She left. She went to her left and she didn't come back. She was facing not the elevator, but like if she was getting out. When she got out of the elevator, she basically went left. Now the elevator door opened again. But I'm pretty sure it's because of all the buttons she pressed. They're going like in order. Yep, the elevator door opened again and it looks like it's another floor. Because the background, the walls are different. Nobody's there.
I feel like I still remember seeing that for the first time, and like the spark of interest that just surrounded her story immediately, and it just I felt almost like sick to my stomach too, watching it. Like, yeah, I don't know.
When that video released, it basically like went completely viral. And it especially went viral in China on this app called Youku. And it's basically kind of like YouTube, but it's over there for China. And it garnered 3 million views and 40,000 comments on its first 10 days. And many commenters said that it looked unsettling to watch. Yeah. So, there's a couple theories that I'm kind of going to go over. But, I mean, take them all with a grain of salt. One was that. So I don't know. You guys can decide which one you guys believe. She was trying to like run to the elevator in order to escape from someone who was pursuing her. Others suggest that she was under the influence. But, spoiler alert, the autopsy detected none in her body. Her family is very silent about her health. So when they finally shared her diagnosis of bipolar disorder, they felt like she was having an
episode.
Yeah. And a lot of people think that the video has been tampered with, like I said earlier. Before being made public, the time skip is obscure, and some claim parts have been slowed down, and nearly a minute of footage has been removed. Supposedly, but the timestamp is so blurry, I can't even tell.
It was, you told me to pay attention to it. I tried looking at it, but I'm like, it's so hard to read like, the actual numbers.
Yeah, and I was right next to it, and it was so hard to read. So a lot of people think that this could have been done to protect the identity of someone who otherwise would be in the video, either related or not to the disappearance. So yeah, those are kind of like the main little theories. The more I look into it, I genuinely think she went through an episode, and that's why she's in there. Mm-hmm. It's weird. This whole case is just really weird.
It's sad. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that she's weird, but everything was just very odd, you know? It's very sad.
I don't think anyone ever...
Okay, because when you said sad, I was just like, wait.
No. Yeah. I'm just referring to, like, if it is an episode, it is sad that no one was there to help her out. Yeah. During that episode, and all we have is that 3-minute footage. Mm-hmm. Of basically her last whereabouts. Yeah. Well, I can't say whereabouts because we know where she was, but mm-hmm. You know what I meant.
Yeah. Elisa Lam was face down in the water tank when Santiago found her, and it was drained and had to be cut open in the side. So the hatch was too small to accommodate equipment needed to remove Elisa's body. On February 22nd, the coroner's office concluded that her death was caused by accidental drowning. She was found naked, but the clothes similar to what she was wearing in the elevator footage was floating beside her. Her watch and her room key were also with her. Her body was moderately decomposed and bloated. I also read that it was mostly greenish with some marbling evident on the abdomen. And there was also skin separation. There was no evidence of physical trauma, sexual assault, or suicide. Toxicology tests showed traces consistent with the prescription medications that were found in her belongings, and also a few non-prescription drugs such as ibuprofen, and then I think it was an allergy pill, or I could be wrong. But there was another like over-the-counter medication that she was taking. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's like a bad drug, you know?
Yeah, so something that like anybody could basically have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She also had a very small quantity of alcohol that was present, but it was barely anything. And like I said earlier, she wasn't using any recreational drugs. Experts noted that the concentration of her prescription drugs in her system indicated that she was under medicating or had stopped taking her meds recently. And a head scratcher is that they know how she died, which was accidental drowning, but they just don't know how she got in the tank in the first place. And the doors and the stairs that access the hotel's roof are locked, like the beginning of the story, like when I first said, because the alarms would have gone off. Mm-hmm. So
she couldn't have had access to go through.
Exactly. Only staff knew the passcodes and they had keys, and any attempt to force them, like to force the doors, would trigger an alarm. But something that I forgot to mention earlier was that when the search dogs were looking around, her scent trail ended near the window in her room that connected to the fire escape. So it could have been possible that she decided to climb it. And she decided to climb onto the hotel roof. And it was easily accessible through the fire escape. And, like, how do I explain this? So basically, when you look at, because I was also listening to a podcast too, just to get a little bit of more information. And I was listening to Rotten Mango, I believe that's what it's called, Rotten Mango. And what she was saying is that when you look at pictures of Cecil, when you see all the police there with their searches and then like the yellow tape and stuff like that, they always try to make it look like the roof was like so small, or like that small section. But if you look at the image, like the bigger image, there's like a whole section of like where the door's at to go in and out. On the side, there's just a ladder going up to the roof. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So, for example, let's say there's the concrete, and then there's the plates, that the water tanks are standing on, right? On the side of the water tanks, there is kind of like a little square-ish of concrete, and that's where the door is at to go down the stairs, up and down the stairs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm not going crazy.
If anything, you can just try to find a picture of like the roof, and we can put it on the cover.
So there's that basically, and on the side of that, which it goes, because it's just a wall straight down, you know, there's just a whole fucking ladder, the whole fire escape ladder, and it goes all the way up to the roof of where that door was at. So it's entirely possible what the host from Rotten Mango was saying. It is entirely possible for her to climb all the way up the ladder, and while she's on the roof of the door to go in and out from the roof, she could have jumped on top of the water tank.
Okay.
So it kind of that makes sense, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So sorry, it's just like really bad when it comes to explaining. But yeah, so that's one of the theories that she had, which genuinely it does make sense. So she could have, jumped on it, unlatched it, even though it probably wouldn't have been easy for her to unlatch it. Eventually she can unlatch it, So basically, like I said, there was supposedly 2 water tanks that were open. So, I already said that about climbing from the roof and then jumping in. And there was also, records of pooling of blood in, like, the anal area from her. And a lot of people were just like, oh my gosh, sexual abuse. But, a pathologist said that it could have resulted from the bloating, because when you bloat, you're basically a balloon, and everything that's inside wants to come out.
Yeah.
Which includes your toots, your pees, your poos, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's because of bloating, the decomposition, and her rectum was also prolapsed. So they're very ambient that Elisa's death was accidental. And after her death, her Tumblr blog updated. Yeah, after her death, a post came on her Tumblr.
A hacker?
No. What I believe, and what many people believe, because I was an avid user of Tumblr, you can queue your posts, basically.
Oh, like time it, like schedule it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's basically what I would do back in my fan fiction days.
I mean, you can still do that. Like, I can, like, when uploading an episode, like, I could schedule it, like, to be on time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
So, yeah, that's exactly what I would do when I would write my fan fiction on Tumblr. So, yeah. So, basically, that's kind of what queuing is for the people that don't know. So, in September, Elisa's parents tried to file a wrongful death lawsuit, claiming that the hotel failed to seek out hazards in the hotel that presented an unreasonable risk of danger to Elisa and other hotel guests, And they were also seeking unspecified, basically, they kind of wanted, like, a little bit of money because of that, which, I mean, I get. And the hotel basically argued, and they said that they couldn't reasonably foresee that Elisa would enter the water tank, or that they can't really blame them that she got in the water tank because they still don't know how she got in. You know what I mean? Like, it's not our fault that she got in there.
Like, if they had, like, left that emergency door to the roof open, yeah, then
But I feel like still, as an adult, you wouldn't do that. Like, if it was a child getting to the roof,
no, but I mean,
it makes
like,
sense.
But, like, if technically, even if you're an adult, like, right, especially, like, right now, like, if you were to do the same thing, technically, like, your mom could still sue the hotel.
Yeah.
I believe, because sure, yeah, you're grown and you can make your own decisions, but if the hotel leaves their door open, like, you're doing that on your own actions. Like, the hotel didn't do their part in keeping you out.
Yeah.
Like, I see the what the parents are trying to say, but at the same time, the hotel is also right, because, like, how the hell, like, you would have to go through an extraordinary feat to go through the on the, what was it, the fire escape?
Yeah.
Yeah. To then jump onto the water tank to get inside the water tank. Like, no one can predict that.
Yeah. So, you know, like, to this day, we still don't know how she got in, why she got in, if she did it, or if somebody did it. And in 2015, that lawsuit that her parents filed against the hotel was dismissed, which makes sense, because they can't really blame the hotel for that. But yeah, what's it called? I'm surprised that a lot of people weren't really talking about murder.
I mean, it's kind of, who can you really point a finger? Yeah, who can you point and be like, they did it? Maybe if you want to go, like, in a dangerous conspiracy route and go, like, oh, that missing minute from the elevator, like, maybe a hotel staff or manager was somewhere in that footage.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It does not make sense at all. I genuinely believe that she just went through an episode and she just didn't know what she was doing, because I don't know if any of my patients that I've had, like, in the past have had bipolar disorder, but I have dealt with people that have dementia, that have Alzheimer's, that have mental illnesses as well. And genuinely, like, when somebody is confused, dude, they are beyond confused. Like, for example, I had one patient, not last week, but the week before. First of all, he called me a tramp. Second of all, he basically was so sure that his wife's car broke down across the street. And he was so sure that he had come over here to call somebody to fix her car. But it's literally 2 a.m. and he's a patient here. And he's already in his early 80s, and I don't even know if his wife is still alive, you know?
Yeah.
And this same patient has been giving us problems because on his first night here, when he was in his wheelchair, he kept saying how he was going to kill us, and he was going to decapitate our heads, and he was going to shoot us because he believed that we were in his house.
That's the same one from...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, like, when people are confused, dude, they are confused. Like, there was also another patient.
Like, they think that they're sometimes in the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, 2 weeks ago, she can walk. I feel like the ones that are confused and that can walk...
Are they more dangerous? Not dangerous, but...
Not exactly that they're more dangerous. It's just that...
Unpredictable?
Yes. Very unpredictable. She decided to get up, walk around a bit. We were looking for her. We found her, and she was sleeping on... Because, like, there's some patients that fall off the bed. So, for safety precautions, we have 2 little, like... What is that thing? Like, mats on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
she was sleeping on one of the mats in a different patient's room.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, like I said, when people are confused, they're confused. So that's why, like, I feel like, and like with her episode, she probably didn't know what she was doing. And at first, like when I was younger, I was like, okay, but like, how can you like not know? Are you just not in control of yourself? But no, you basically are in control of yourself, but your perception of reality is like distorted in a way. Like things that you think are there aren't there, or things that aren't there are there,
Yeah.
So like, for example, going back to like the elevator and stuff like that, like she quickly stepped out of the elevator, whipped her head left and right. I feel like that wouldn't even be enough to even know what you're looking at,
Yeah, I mean, it looked like she was looking out for something.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
She like I was telling you earlier that not only like the way she was looking, but the way she was moving was so defensive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. She was yeah, I guess an episode really does best fit what happened to her.
Mhm. And then like the way she would step outside the elevator and she was just leaning against the wall next to the entrance of the elevator. We can barely see her by like her arm or by like her leg, and and then she would lift her hands up and then kind of like, not like in a praying motion, you know what I mean, like she would just like stretch,
Yeah.
and then she would move like her arms around kind of like that. And I mean, I'm gonna what's it called, how do I say it, screen record the video, and I will post it on Instagram when this episode releases. I will post it so that y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like that's why I genuinely feel like when people are in an episode, usually like I feel like they do know what they're doing, but their perception of reality is different, And I don't know. I feel like mental illness is so interesting too, because I had this conversation with one of my coworkers and I was like, hey, like there's a lot of times when it comes to patients with dementia and like with Alzheimer's, they see stuff. They see stuff, dude. One of my patients, she has a whole bunch of fake cats. She swears that they're real and that they run around the room. And she was basically saying like that there's people that walk around at night, and I was like, oh well, that's probably me, I'm just doing my job. She's like, no, you're not wearing a white lab coat. I was like, okay, well then that's probably the doctor. And she's like, no, the one that's always walking around and checking up on me is handsome. And I was all like, okay, like, yeah, and he said he was gonna marry me. And I was like, okay. And like when she looks at the TV, I hate it when they put the religious channel on the TV for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a certain preacher, I don't know who this preacher is, there's a certain preacher that pops on at a certain time at night. When she looks at it, she starts freaking out, and she's all like, he knows me, he can see me through the screen.
Jesus.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So she's always and then she's always saying that there's kids that are running around and everything. And I was like, well, there's no kids here. She's like, oh no, they're there. And I was all like, whoa, ma'am. I was like, they're not here. But like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm talking to my coworker, like, do you think that people that have like dementia or that like, like mental illnesses like that, like, do you think that they subconsciously like open their third eye, kind of like with animals, like they see things that we don't see,
Yeah.
They sense things that we don't sense. Like, do you think that they have their third eye subconsciously open, that they can see stuff that we can't? It's weird.
I don't think that part necessarily. I think what happens is that our brains, our brains are just really complex.
Yeah.
And if a part of it fails, it's almost like a chain reaction. I don't think it has something to do with like third eyes and seeing other dimensions. I mean, maybe, like, obviously, anything could happen at this point. Like in anybody,
it's just a theory.
It is just a theory, but I feel like at that point, like, it really is just like a mental illness, and to them, what they're perceiving is reality. They're seeing what they 100% see. If they see little kids running in the hallways of a facility, they 100% believe that they are indeed seeing it. Maybe even sometimes that they could even feel it, like grab it. But like, if you're, from your perspective, you're probably just seeing them grab onto air or something. Like, I just think that, I don't know, I don't think it has to be like that. Seeing something from a different dimension or something. Yeah. That's just me, though.
Yeah. And that makes sense. That really does make sense. But, I mean, at the same time, at least when it comes to, like, from a medical standpoint, too, there's this hospice nurse that says, what's it called? Basically, because hospice is end-of-life care. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. And when she's looking at these patients as she's caring for them while they're getting ready to, pass away any day now, they see their family members. And then it kind of makes you think, like, are their family members really there? Are they not there? And they just think about that because it's their loved ones?
Maybe it does have to go back to what you're thinking about, like, subconsciously. It could be, like, the brain comforting itself. Almost that like giving an illusion that everything is just going to be alright.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people say, too, that, like, that they're there to, like, guide them. Guide them, basically, to heaven if they're religious, or, like, to the afterlife, or whatever, And then somebody said, too, like, somebody had commented and everything, that, like, well, if you're a hospice nurse and you deal with death every day, like, why don't you believe, like, in God? Because she doesn't. And then she mentions, she's all like, every time that I'm experiencing these things with these patients and they tell me what they're seeing, they never tell me that they're seeing angels or demons or God or Jesus. They see their family, They see their family. They see, people that they hate. Sometimes, they didn't have a good life, It's like, and it's just, it really makes me wonder, like, I don't know, like, just ending of life stuff, and I don't know, just seeing things that are not there, but you think that they're there. Yeah. It's just very interesting.
It's one of the biggest things that we'll never get to really understand. Yeah. Like, for me, like, I love science and I love to understand, right? Like, especially the world around me, the universe, human bodies, plants, anything that I can wrap my hand around, or, like, wrap my head around. There you go. That's what I meant to say. Wrap my head around. I just love to understand it. But it sucks because all we could do is just theorize whether or not if there is an afterlife. Hell, whether or not if one of the religions is even correct. Yeah. It could be either all of them are right, and we just choose which one we want, or none of them are right, or they just don't exist. It's one of the most frustrating things to me. Yeah. Like, I would at least like to know the answer. But
it's crazy. This is really interesting, huh?
Yeah. I when it comes to topics like this, I could go on. Yeah. For fucking ever. Because it's speculation. It's dealing with the human mind and trying to comprehend what we can't experience. Trying to experience nothing is impossible. Yeah. But we've done it before, and we'll do it again, but we just can't recollect it.
And then also, like, because I just remember this right now, but as I was, going to school to get qualified to be a nurse assistant.
Mm-hmm.
They had showed us a video of like how to take care of like old people and like how to help in these certain situations, and it was how to help with somebody that has dementia. And for example, it's a checkered floor, and let's say the hallway is just a white tile, but then when you go into a certain room, the floor is checkered. It's a different tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And a patient is scared to walk because they think that black tile is a hole, even though you're stepping on it and you're like, look, I'm not falling in, it's not a hole. They wholeheartedly believe that they will fall and that it's a hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I feel like for the next Creepy Caffeinated Chronicles, I would love to find a whole bunch of stories of like people like in hospice, like the end of life care, and what they see. You know what I mean? Like the good and like the bad and everything. Like I think that's really interesting. I'm gonna see if I can do that.
I would say write it down on your notes right now so you so you won't forget. My
phone's at 2%.
No, I'm gonna give 4%. You a charger.
Or like that and deathbed confessions.
Oh man, that would be interesting too.
Maybe if they're long enough, I could do like a good 3-4 stories maybe on those.
Maybe. We were talking about hospice too. Like people who work in hospice. I think there was it could have just been like a bullshit article I've read, honestly, but it could be real too. That there was somebody who was doing research on people who were, I think, in hospice, or like at least like in the last weeks of their life. Like he was just gathering like a group basically because he wanted to find out if there's a soul in a body, and if so, how much does it weigh? Mm-hmm. So what he would do is that he would weigh the people, and then jot it down for every day, and then when they passed, he would, I think he like measured how long it took for like the weight to, because like when we stand up or like if we sit down or like we put our weight on someone else, we actually control how much weight we're putting on somebody. Yeah. Like, Mm-hmm. Like if you try to carry somebody that's unconscious, like you're going to feel the full weight of their body. Yeah. Because they're not trying to like hold back. Yeah. So he tried to measure how much mass was lost. Mm-hmm. I think he measured like, I think a pound was lost at the moment of death. Or something like that.
That is so interesting.
So he's like, if there is a soul, it has to weigh like a pound or something. Because like out of the time of death, they all lose around the same mass. So like they should be getting heavier or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to look that up because I probably sound like a fucking lunatic right now.
I get what you're saying wholeheartedly, dude. As soon as you started explaining it the second or third time, I had understood it since the beginning. What you were saying.
I don't know.
But you're not crazy, bro. I promise.
I don't know. But then it's also a weird thing that, if we keep talking about death, afterlife or no afterlife, if there is no afterlife, do we still have a soul? Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about the egg theory?
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that's my favorite theory.
I do. I like that a lot too. Even that or just like reincarnation just in general, I feel like is comforting. Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know, something about the egg theory. I mean, I feel like reincarnation, I don't know how, I feel like I wouldn't want to be reincarnated. But at the same time, I get it. But, yeah, I guess kind of like with the egg theory, because it does involve reincarnation. How basically every single person in the world is you. Yeah. And you are everything. Basically, it's so cool, like, from the worm in the ground to the butterfly flying next to you, you know? To the person you got into a fight with at the drive-thru, like, that's you.
Yeah. It's just you fighting you every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that so crazy. That's wild.
But if there is a reincarnation, like, hopefully, it's like an isekai. We just get to just choose wherever the fuck we go. That'd be pretty cool.
And I feel like if you do get reincarnated, how long do you stay dormant?
What do you mean dormant?
Dormant between you go from body to body. Like, for example, like if I were to die right now, and like I took my last breath, will my soul essentially be automatically given to the next baby that pops out?
Well, according to the egg theory, it's like...
Or would I have to wait a certain amount of time?
I feel like...
Or until I'm chosen.
Well, for egg theory, it's like...
Well, for the egg theory, it's just you.
Well, no, it's not just that, but like, if you... what I used to think about reincarnation, I used to think that, like, if I die right now, the next body I would inhabit would be in the future. Like, I would just keep going into the future. Yeah. But with egg theory, you jump around through time. Yeah. During any time. It's like, if I die right now, I would go to the year 1213 and live life there, and if I died there...
So I've been to the year 3000.
It's
so interesting.
Yeah, it's maybe during like the next creepy caffeinated chronicles we could talk about like reincarnations and theories like that.
I'm gonna look for more reincarnation theories.
So you wanna take water? I feel like we can just keep talking about this. Yeah. If you do have a soulmate in this life, right? If you and them die eventually, would you meet them again in a different timeline or like a different part in time?
Yeah, and that's and that's what I find crazy because, for example, you and your soulmate, what if something were to happen and one were to die before the other? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, do they wait until the next one dies and then get reincarnated together?
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, it kind of doesn't make sense because what if you're not the same age as your soulmate?
No, it's.
Or are you born?
You wouldn't have to be born at the same time. It could still be like a year or two apart, as long as like.
True.
I think as long as your other half is still in the timeline within a respective time.
And then what about? And it makes me feel sad because what about the times where you don't meet your soulmate? You know.
If I'm in that timeline right now for me, then that just means I have something else to look forward to in a different life.
And maybe your soulmate doesn't have to be a lover. Maybe your soulmate can be like your pet, your friend.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, or like a really nice ciabatta bread sandwich. Fuck yeah, dude.
This is crazy. Dude, this is great. I fucking love talking about this.
Yeah, it sucks because the story I have to present right now is gonna be dog shit compared to what we're talking about.
It's okay, bro.
You better feel the vibe go all the way down.
Wait, your brother sent me something right now. I was reading it into you. One of my mutuals is gonna dress up as Mama at WonderCon.
Is that right, Mama?
Isn't that right, Mama? I'm gonna record. I'm gonna walk up to her while recording, and I'm gonna be like, "Isn't that right, Mama? Michael's a bitch." And she's gonna be like, yeah."
Yeah, like sure, fuck that guy. I don't know.
Also, when it comes to the whole egg theory too, there are very bad people in the world, and I feel like.
How many wrongs have you done in every life?
Yeah. So then, like, I'm sorry, but when I remember I was looking through the comments and then somebody's like, "So I'm Hitler?" And I was just like, dude, what the fuck?
If egg theory is a possibility, then unfortunately, yeah. Because, let's say right now, in the time that we live, we have to know about him, unfortunately. About his actions and what he's done. There has to be history. And if you're going to be him, it's unfortunate, but you have to make that history. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but...
Yeah. Like, man, imagine the whole egg theory. Like, not only are you're also like a monster, too. You can be a monster to yourself.
I don't know. If anything, I just hope that if reincarnation exists, I get to pick it out. You know, time or universe or whatever. Right. Well, you had. I can't say exciting. Well, no, the topic we had afterwards was exciting.
Yes. The story itself is pretty interesting, and it is a head scratcher.
Yes. I'm gonna bring all that down because my story's stupid. Oh, we were talking about it earlier, really earlier in the podcast, that we were doing the research for a specific place, and it had such rich history. And for this place, people were talking about it being haunted. They saw apparitions, and they saw like those little light orbs. People even going into the location to feel like the energy or like the vibe or whatever. And they say that, yeah, it feels terrible in there. Like it feels creepy.
Catacombs?
But
no.
It's just really hard to get any story out of it, no matter how specifically, like how hard I looked. I couldn't find anything. I found a couple like Reddit stories of people going in the location, like breaking in, like.
Is it the catacombs?
No, it is the Hollydale Insane Asylum in Downey, California.
Oh, okay. I think I know.
Do you know?
I think so.
Because
it's like I know, but I don't know.
I've been in Downey for a long time. I've never fucking heard of this place before.
No, I feel like I think there was this dude I used to watch a long time ago called, I mentioned him before on the podcast, Exploring with Josh. I'm pretty sure he did an episode of them going inside an asylum, and I know that it was like in California.
I mean, we do have a lot of asylums, but this one's like. This one, it does. I couldn't. Like, a lot of the information was like.
What?
It was like okay. Like, just okay stuff. Like, nothing too.
Lukewarm.
Monumental to jot down.
Yeah.
Like, it's history, to be sure. Like, it's interesting history, but. Like, to help build the case of the paranormal and to make you a believer, it's so dog shit. Oh my god. Okay,
but
so.
Will it be entertaining at least?
Somewhat. It's towards the end. Mm-hmm. It's a little weird. Just because, like. Let me just get into it. So, the Hollydale Asylum was built in 1887, but was originally called the County Poor Farm, but would later be changed to Rancho Los Amigos, like in the 1950s, basically. The old institution's purpose was to provide work, housing, and medical care for the poor and even the disabled. As years went on, the rehabilitation center grew and housed thousands of patients. But as you can imagine, as more patients came, corners had to be cut, and by the time the 1903 rolled around, overcrowding and lack of sanitation had reached basically its peak. And rumors had begun to spread among the town in newspapers, which had led to a massive uproar. In 1906, the building went under remodeling and even a new change of ownership by a man named George S. Clark. One of the things that upset me so much about this story was the change of ownership.
What?
In like a 9-year span, they go through like 6 people.
What is that? Like the freaking hospital?
It's
in Singapore. Was it Singapore?
Yeah. Jesus Christ!
I can't believe I remembered that.
Yeah. Basically that. I mean, like, as far as I can tell, like nothing. The first owner basically let overcrowding and poor sanitation take place.
Wow.
That's why he was replaced by this guy named Clark. Mm-hmm. But as far as I can tell, like, the other people didn't do like a bad job. They just mostly like improved and just made it a better place, kind of. But I'm getting way too ahead.
That's what happens when people care more about money instead of healthcare.
Actually, according to a lot of the stories I was reading, it seemed like a pretty decent place.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, sure, like maybe a person or two might be like neglected and like in their care to have proper care.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
Apparently, like overall, it wasn't a bad place. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I could have just been reading. I could have been reading like biased articles or something. I don't know. I would have to triple check on that. Though only in charge for about 9 months, Clark would make some of the biggest changes, such as adding the building's first chapel and adding a psychiatric ward. Clark would be replaced by someone named Donald Chick, which sounds like a totally fake name, who was soon replaced again by a man named Andrew Wade, who managed to increase the original 124.4 acre land to 333 acres, and even added employee housing. This place is like really fucking huge, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was basically considered like its own town.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was fucking massive. As the years passed, the facilities shifted its focus to be more of a medical facility. In 1910, this was due to the influx of patients with chronic medical disorders. Until 1915, the center had gone through a total of 6 owners, until landing on William Rudy, who would remain superintendent of the facility until 1952. By 1920, the rehabilitation center had grown even bigger, going from 333 acres to 540 acres. With new growth came new opportunities with the patients. William created new wards to help patients form new skills and learn crafts such as furniture and food, and even opened a therapy program for the patients.
Wow.
By the time World War II had rolled around, the facility became a housing unit for medical center for the military. But the popularity of the building grew bigger as it became the biggest care unit for both polio and tuberculosis, to the point where one of the wards had to be remodeled specifically for polio patients.
You know that happened with COVID?
I could imagine, yeah.
Yeah, like, for example, I wasn't working peak COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But because people didn't know what COVID was, I mean, obviously COVID is a type of flu. Like at my old job, we have 2 main hallways. It's just like one singular line, linear building. The first half, it was like locked down with like the plastic and everything. Like you needed like the fucking hazmat suits and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like all dramatic and everything. Which I mean, like COVID is serious. People have died. My grandma died from it. But like, yeah, like it's so crazy that there's actual wards just dedicated. I mean, there has to
have
be.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Especially like when it comes to diseases like that, like.
But like during this time, like beginning like 1930s to 40s,
mm-hmm.
like it became one of the biggest ones in the U.S.
Wow.
Like it's the reputation for the center was fucking massive. As the facility grew even larger and the patients became to the thousands, like 10,000s basically, which is back then fucking massive. It wasn't long before the town would eventually become a part of Downey in California in 1950s. Fast forwarding to 1988, the original southern campus had fallen into disrepair, as more of the main focus was on the other parts of the northern part of the campus. It was left alone for so long that it fell victim to vandalism, arson, more than once, and a homeless problem. On June 26, 2017, arsonists set fire to the southwestern corner of the original property, and on February 23, 2022, arsonists once again set fire to the southwestern part of the campus, but this time destroying around 80% of the original campus to this day. After all the flames, only 3 of the original buildings remain. Of the south part. You can still visit it, but it is blocked off to the public. Over the years, countless lives were lost due to earthquakes, floods, suicides, and even a rumor of a patient slashing a priest's throat.
Huh?
Many unclaimed bodies were buried in the farm's pottery fields. Although I am getting ahead of myself here, by the time 1988 rolled around, cutting to the facility's spending had impacted it so harshly that it was forced to shut down all operations. It was apparently left abandoned in almost such a hurry and rushed state to the point where biohazard material, patient and employee files and reports were just left behind. And if you're brave enough, you can find it to this day lying abandoned on the floor. Lately, the abandoned grounds are used for police and even military training. And in 2006, U.S. Marines were doing a routine exercise and had stumbled upon an old freezer. When they opened it, they found mummified remains left behind. Dozens of biohazard bags, which the Marines didn't open. 10 legs, feet, and even brain matter were found as well.
Whoa.
A pathologist told the LA Times that the parts that were found were amputated for medical specimens and were not the result of foul play. To this day, it is closed off to the public and this hasn't stopped people from breaking in to see the facility. For some of these people, they report spiritual orbs, full-bodied apparitions, and even screams late at night can be heard. Even stories of the occult have been rumored to go on to this day. I was gonna read it, but we're almost hitting like 2 hours here. There's a little Reddit story of people, like him and a group of 10 of his friends, were just breaking in basically into the facility, but they found a cult in one of the morgues. And apparently that at that time they were like sacrificing something, like an animal. Like they could hear the animal.
Hey, yo.
And they didn't go any further, obviously. They just said fuck that, booked it, and then left. Again, it's Reddit, so I can't 100% say that it's not accurate. It's not accurate. It's word of mouth, but why would the internet lie to me?
Word of text.
But that's all I got. I really couldn't find like any other.
It's okay. My next one is pretty short too.
Same here. It's so bad. It's so bad. I hate myself for it. I don't know. I feel like even if there aren't a lot of accounts, the shit that might have gone down there regardless has to just give off terrible fucking vibes and energy over there.
Yeah.
In the facility.
I agree.
Patients dying, being buried there, unclaimed. There were some reports that after I think a couple years that they did dig up the bodies that were unclaimed and relocated them somewhere else, but I would imagine that if you're you would be pissed like just being left alone there for so long.
Yeah.
It's one of probably the shortest fucking stories I think I've ever done for a paranormal one. I just really couldn't find anything. But I mean, the facility is still there. If you are brave enough, there are a lot of people that do like those urban explorations that just fucking love to just go in there. And some people say that they just find like squatters and like homeless people. Even if you don't believe in anything spiritual, still stumbling upon like an actual fucking squatter there would be one of the most terrifying experiences.
More scary than a fucking ghost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like those things are. I think we talked about it. I think a long time ago in one of the podcast episodes, where this place definitely won't have it, but like old abandoned locations will have motion detectors and intercoms.
Yeah. And even though they haven't been used in like years, they still alarm. Yeah. And everything, and then I think police still go. Yeah. Because they do. And every time those things go off, they book it, man.
They have been trying to, apparently after they found like the bodies and like the feet and the brain matter, the county wants to like scrap the facility and construct something different. I don't know what they were planning to construct, but they want to make.
Do we really need another skyscraper in LA?
I think they're gonna say like a fucking mall. Like a mall.
Do we really need another mall in LA? Well, I doubt they're gonna do a freaking mall because.
Oh no, I so doubt it.
Yeah, they're never gonna do a mall. No. We're not gonna have any malls in the near future.
But it's still like, I don't know. It's still kind of creepy looking at like all the pictures too. Like, just history. Like looking back at those pictures, like people were there at that time, and at the state it's in now. It's really kind of just sad. Like they just really just up and left basically.
I wonder what warrants for people to just go up and leave. Like, leaving all the paperwork behind and stuff.
Well, the building lost a lot of the funding. Like, I don't know how.
True.
Well, fuck. It was during, I think, a part... No, I'm getting the times mixed up here. I just know that they lost a lot of funding. Mm-hmm. And so they couldn't keep housing all the patients that just kept coming in. Mm-hmm. Although, like, I think some part of the campuses are still being housing to this day.
Yeah.
So not all of it's completely cut off. So they are still, like, taking care of patients, and they are still housing people that need the housing. Mm-hmm. But that's, like, at the northern parts, I think far detached from the original southwestern area.
Mm-hmm. That place might be really big because Universal Studios has its own zip code. And you said that it was really big, that it was like it's in a little city.
Yeah, its own little town.
Mm-hmm.
Then merged into Downey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this little one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We talked about fucking a lot.
It was good, though.
It was good.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. Spiritual shit, man. It's... Or just talk to death. Gets you thinking.
Yeah.
But until then, if you guys are watching or listening on Spotify, give a rating, take a part of the polls. If you're on YouTube, comment, leave a like, share with anyone who you think will enjoy comedy, true crime, paranormal, supernatural, or just two idiots drinking coffee or tea and having the time of their lives.
Hell yeah.
Anything, closing statements you want to get off before?
Not really. If you guys have any theories about like reincarnation, that'd be really cool.
Though I'm not super religious, I do like hearing and studying other religions. Like what?
Me too.
Yeah. Because like,
too.
I can't, I need proof, but it's still pretty interesting to hear their perspective and what they think the next life is. It's pretty cool.
Like, I have been tempted to kind of like go back and to like read the Bible, because I do still have one, I think. Mm-hmm. But like kind of like look at it from outside the box, reading it like a book and not reading it like spiritually, you know what I mean? Like,
well, there are a lot of people that just like study different Bibles and different religions.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what I've been wanting to do, and I was like, why not start off with the one that got me into this mess?
And then you take the best parts of all of it, and then you make the religion.
Yeah. And this is my Bible.
But until then, this is your favorite hosts, Ray and Mr. Butternup signing off. We'll see you guys next week on episode 22 of the Caffeinated Creeps podcast.
Which is going to be like 5 minutes for us.
5 minutes for us. Probably going to take a short little break. It's almost midnight. Oh my god, spooky hours.
Party.
Oh my god. Fuck you. Tweet. It says your fucking lock screen. I'm kidding.
Don't be mean to my boyfriend.
I'm kidding.
I know, I'm messing with you.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's going to be it. Bye-bye, everybody.
He's hating on me because I get bitches and he don't.
First off, wait until you see me in the next life, where I'm gonna have all the bitches. Not in this life, but definitely in the next one. Fuck you.